When people tell me that ripping is not cost effective and buy singles, I say that's BS. And I say it in a different format. This is a hobby, and part of the hobby entails ripping packs. And so when we have transitioned to this period in time where you're telling me that, hey, it's no longer cost effective for collectors and for little kids to be ripping packs to try to find, their favorite player, favorite team, favorite cards of the year, it just isn't right. I mean, this is a hobby. And for Topps Fanatics and Panini to have transitioned this industry to a point where little kids can't afford to buy your packs, little kids can't afford to pull the best cards. The fact that blaster boxes are so expensive now, and then the fact that you have tailored all the best cards out of retail and put all the best cards toward breakers and basically hobby boxes. This industry has become basically an industry and has become less of a hobby and a fun hobby to collect in. It basically, you have transitioned this hobby into where only the people with the most amount of money and who can afford this uh, card collecting are the only ones who are going to win out. And I just think that's wrong. I mean, I think little kids should be able to buy blaster boxes that are affordable and know that they have just as good of a chance of pulling a good card as anybody else. Now, yes, maybe a person can only buy a handful of blaster boxes a year versus somebody who has lots of money and they can buy hundreds of blaster boxes per year. But at least knowing going in that whether you buy 5 blaster boxes in a given year or you buy 500, you still have the same shot of getting the same cards. But that's really not the case with a lot of these series now that Topps and Panini Fanatics have put out. You have made this so difficult now to get the very best cards out of retail that you've shun out a lot of collectors from getting certain cards. And I just think that's completely wrong. And so this whole idea of, hey, um, what you see on a break is not what you can actually achieve in real life is so true. And it's just really unfair. And so when people say, okay, don't rip anymore, just buy singles, that's what I mean when I say that's BS. And I also feel so strongly that Fanatics moving in and buying Tops has become a monopoly. Um, the NFL really gives me a real displeasure because although I can afford to buy a bunch of different streaming sites and watch every single game I want to watch, the average fan can't. And that's why a lot of my friends, they're my friends and they'll come over and watch games with me. But a lot of them, they cannot afford all these different platforms. And they know that if they want to watch the game, they got to come see me. And I just feel it's unfair. I mean, I can afford to have a whole bunch of different streaming platforms. Basically, I have them all. So I don't miss a single NFL game. But I don't think the average fan should be discluded just because the NFL wants to just charge arm and a leg. Granted, when you look at the top 20 TV shows for this past current year in 2025, a lot of the sports ones are football, okay? And it's a lot of them, like 90% of them are NFL with 10% of being college. But I still don't think it's right that Tops or that the NFL has gone to a format where they've given the complete rights to Fanatics, and Fanatics bought Tops. And so now you have a major monopoly in a situation where, in order to get the best cards, you're going to have to buy higher end hobby boxes because all the best cards have been put into hobby. And yes, they do. For those people who are jumping up and down and saying, "Hey, there, you can still get some of these great one-on-one cards, and you can get like in baseball, you can get the rookie auto patch 101." Yes, that's true. They've given us some crumbs, and every so often, somebody really lucks out and gets one of the ones out of a retail product. But let me tell you, 99% of all the product, the best cards, are going to hobby and going to breakers. And just market manipulation. There's no doubt about it. There is a huge amount of market manipulation. And even like a person like me, and I'm too embarrassed to tell you how much money I spend per year on sports cards. It's just a ridiculous amount. It's more than like some people pay for a condo. And and I can afford it. Even then, I feel a little cheated because I know the hobby boxes I buy are not juiced up hobby boxes. And it's really evidently clear that breakers are given specialty juice boxes. There is no question about it. They want you to open them on a live channel. They're trying to gear toward having the breakers break on the Fanatics live site. It's all a dog and pony show in terms of trying to make it look like it's attainable for all of us. But really, you factor in the fact that they want everything going through the breaker side. We don't really we don't stand a chance in this hobby anymore. And the question it really is did we ever stand a chance? And then I feel so sorry for all my friends that I used to collect cards with from when I was a child, growing up, to where as young adults and adults, I've lost basically all my friends in the hobby who can't afford to buy even retail anymore. They've said, Todd, I'm sorry, but I know you want to get together once a month and open up packs and hang out and do this stuff, and I am glad to come over, but I just can't split or get in on this action of buying a case of cards because, first of all, there's not a lot of great product in retail anymore. They've taken out all the good cards, and then secondly, it's gotten so expensive as a hobby now that even on the retail side, people really can't afford it. And all my friends are married, they have kids, and they can't afford to stay in this hobby. And it's like, as my friends have kids that are getting older and they're liking sports and they like baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards, they get gifts for Christmas and their birthdays. First of all, it's a product that's watered down. And then secondly, the fact that it's so expensive that they have to ask for it as like their Christmas gift and it's pricey as all get out is just not right. And that's you can blame Fanatics, Topps, and Panini strictly for that, to make this industry so expensive that it's not affordable for the average Joe. And I'm just, I'm kind of fed up with it, to tell you the truth. It's just not right. And then getting back to the title of my video, yeah, I think this whole idea of, okay, we can't afford to rip packs anymore, or it's just not cost effective, that's a bunch of BS. We need to get back to a point where you can open up a $17.99 or a $15.99 or even a $19.99 box of blaster boxes and know that you can still get good cards out of there. And to say that it's not cost effective and it's just too expensive and it's ripping is not for us, that's a bunch of BS. I think we need to get back to a point where the average Joe can buy a blaster box for an affordable price and know they still can get good cards. And so all I can say is, to finish things off before I just ramble too long, is Fanatics and Topps and Panini, you guys suck. Flat out, you guys suck. And this is not fair. It is absolutely not fair. I'm not with you guys at all.